Hi YouTube, this video is tanker truck speeds into Minneapolis George Floyd protesters on I-35 West Bridge, driver in custody. First, we're going to check out this video.
And here's that video, Jennifer. Oh my gosh, the speed at which that truck approached, and even some of the brave people attempting to slow it down. And then look at how quickly they tried to get close to stop him, or stop the driver.
And how do you stop? You know, that's a vehicle there, a sizable vehicle going there right in the middle of the interstate. Jeff, that came up. We didn't see that initially. First time we're seeing that truck go that fast, not slowly crawling or anything like that, but going pretty fast into that crowd and then coming to a stop. But you're seeing kind of that mob of people then really gathering tightly together. Oh, here it is again.
And the length, the distance it takes to slow down a vehicle like that, not knowing the weight of the load it's carrying, we're talking potentially hundreds of feet.
Right.
And then there are thousands of people out there.
Yeah, Jeff, and then after that, we were seeing from our different vantage point, the cab door being opened and closed and opened and closed, so unsure of where that driver is, looking like people clearly were upset that semi came down the interstate where they had been peacefully protesting. I mean, it's just parting the ways as you see it just go right there. Clearly a dangerous situation that unfolded right there. Right before our eyes, Jeff.
And when you consider the images we've seen since Tuesday in terms of destruction, fright, things we'll never forget, and here we had a peaceful protest that even law enforcement was allowing to happen, and this is one of the first times we've seen a major disruption, and it was to a level where lives, if not thousands of lives, were at stake. And here's a live picture now. You see how much, a little bit, I'm not live just a few minutes earlier, but you see how much further I believe that truck continued to go, because that does not, where we see the truck right now, in this video from a few minutes ago, does not look like where it stopped in that MnDOT camera picture. It appears maybe the truck might have moved further. And then you mentioned, Jennifer, the cab door opened. We saw what appeared to be a crowd or mob of sorts around that person, their arms flailing. We're not sure what they were doing or how they were interacting with that driver potentially. But I'm sure feelings of fright and anger for someone to come through what was a peaceful protest.
Okay, I'm going to read this to you, and we're going to look at some more footage. Minneapolis, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety says a tanker truck driver is in custody after speeding through marchers protesting the death of George Floyd on the Interstate of 35 West Bridge in Minneapolis, on Sunday. DPS Commissioner John Herring says it appears that no protesters on the southbound lanes of the interstate were seriously hurt. He estimates that 5,000 to 6,000 people were on the bridge at the time the truck sped through. Harrington says the truck was already on the interstate before the incident, even though it had closed about 40 minutes earlier at 5 p.m., and barriers were placed specifically for marchers. And this is a semi-truck full of gas tried running us over while we were peacefully protesting.
Bro, come here. That semi-truck tried to hit everyone. This whole bridge was full. That semi-truck tried to run people over, and now there's a gas leak. Now he ran over people. And he fucking ran. Look at that. He killed someone.
Bring the people over here! Come that way! They took the people across the highway!
Innocent people. This guy, a fucking racist. And he ran out his fucking truck. Tried to fucking kill us.
Sorry about the language, folks. I didn't know about that. It was one of the most dangerous things I've ever seen, Harrington said. The driver was pulled out of the truck and attacked by protesters, was treated for non-threatening injuries at Harrington Healthcare and is now in the Harrington County Jail. In several videos of the incident, protesters can be heard seen trying to stop the attacker, and several laid on him to protect him. The Harrington County Sheriff said that, and I'm going to show a video where somebody explains that was there, what happened afterwards as well. This is going to be a good video. The Harrington, complete, I should say. It's not a good one. The Harrington County Sheriff's Office said that no one was called out for a water rescue in the incident. The truck had a Canaan Advantage Group logo on it. The Ohio-based company gave this statement late Sunday evening, which read in part, "Our hearts go out to all those who were grieving the event of this past week. We have been informed of an incident involving one of our independent contractors in Minneapolis during recent protests. Our first and foremost concern is the safety and security of the public, our employees, and our customers." Protesters were taking a knee on I-35, a semi-truck ran into protesters. Police arrived macing protesters instead of going after the truck driver. Police arrived soon after and began to use chemical spray on protesters, including those who were trying to help the man to the squad car. Governor Tim Walz later announced at a press conference, about 90 minutes later, that the police quickly moved onto the bridge and cleared the crowds due to the threat of a possible or chemical leak from the tanker. The police response led to pandemonium on the bridge, with thousands quickly scattering away to the nearest off-ramp. Today, I witnessed pure evil. Thousands and thousands of protesters were peacefully marching the streets to demand justice for George Floyd as a gas truck came barreling through the crowd. Pray to whoever you pray to for all of us. The DPS announced that 3 hours after the incident that the Minnesota State Patrol and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are jointly investigating this as a criminal matter. Those Minneapolis marchers were part of a no-bail march, which began at the U.S. Bank Stadium at about 4 p.m., and the group started to march through the streets of downtown Minneapolis. Their march moved from the stadium over to the Hennepin Avenue Bridge, then over to Interstate 35 West by about 5:30, where thousands took a knee and a moment of silence just a couple of minutes before the tanker arrived. The incident happened nearly 13 years after 13 people died and 143 were injured when the original interstate bridge collapsed. Wow. Meanwhile, a Justice for George Floyd march began with a rally at the Minnesota State Capitol in St. Paul. Midway through the afternoon, the march started moving and ultimately made their way onto the Interstate 94, where they started marching west. Crowd moves onto 94. WCCO's David Schuman said WCCO's David Schuman says that in retaliation to the concerns about protesting flared up the spread of COVID-19 in the state and across the country, he observed at least 3/4 of the protesters wearing face masks. Governor Tim Walz on Sunday extended the curfew order, which again goes into effect at 8 p.m. in both cities, along with many other suburbs in the surrounding area. And just so you guys know, my sister city, which is right next to Santa Clara, which is San Jose, California, we're going into curfew tonight. Also, Metro Transit said that we're going to continue suspension of all service on buses, LRT, and commuter rail through at least Monday, June 1st, and many Minneapolis highways will once again be closed through 6 a.m. Monday. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of footage for you that shows you what happened right before and what happened afterwards. Let's get started.
What can you see? What can you tell us?
Yeah, well, we're still on University Ave. We're heading towards 35W, where that moment of silence will happen. This is the tail end of the peaceful protest that began at US Bank Stadium. Massive crowds marched from there through downtown, crossed the Hennepin Bridge. We got to the back of the crowd just out of a little logistical miscommunication. We got sidetracked for a moment, but we were trying to catch up. And before it looked like that the protesters just marched straight across the Hennepin Bridge without taking a knee. Well, I can tell you that I looked on Twitter and we were wrong. They actually did take a knee. That's just how big the crowd was, that we were sort of in the back end of it, and the people at the front must have taken the time to do it. And we just, based on our location, couldn't see it. So we are now heading towards 35W. We're just a few blocks from it, and the crowds are still, even, I said this before, the stragglers look like large crowds, and people are lining the sidewalks here, handing out waters and food, and there's a man here with a trash bag for anyone who needs. So these people are peaceful, and they have been all afternoon.
And here's that video, Jennifer. Oh my gosh, the speed at which that truck approached. And even some of the brave people attempting to slow it down, and then look at how quickly they tried to get close to stop him, or stop the driver. And
how do you stop? That's a vehicle there, a sizable vehicle going there right in the middle of the interstate. Jeff, that came up. We didn't see that initially. First time we're seeing that truck go that fast, not slowly crawling or anything like that, but going pretty fast into that crowd and then coming to a stop. But you're seeing kind of that mob of people then really gathering tightly together. Oh, here it is again.
And the length, the distance it takes to slow down a vehicle like that, not knowing the weight of the load it's carrying, we're talking potentially hundreds of feet.
Right.
And there are thousands of people out there.
Yeah, Jeff, and then after that, we were seeing from our different vantage point, the cab door being opened and closed and opened and closed, so unsure of where that driver is, looking like people clearly were upset that semi came down the interstate where they had been peacefully protesting. I mean, it's just parting the ways as you see it just go right there. Clearly a dangerous situation that unfolded right there. Right before our eyes, Jeff.
And when you consider the images we've seen since Tuesday in terms of destruction, fright, things we'll never forget, and here we had a peaceful protest that even law enforcement was allowing to happen, and this is one of the first times we've seen a major disruption, and it was to a level where lives, if not thousands of lives, were at stake. And here's a live picture now. You see how much, a little bit, I'm not live just a few minutes earlier, but you see how much further I believe that truck continued to go, because that does not, where we see the truck right now, in this video from a few minutes ago, does not look like where it stopped in that MnDOT camera picture. It appears maybe the truck might have moved further. And then you mentioned, Jennifer, the cab door opened. We saw what appeared to be a crowd or mob of sorts around that person, their arms flailing. We're not sure what they were doing or how they were interacting with that driver potentially. But I'm sure feelings of fright and anger for someone to come through what was a peaceful protest
Tanker went right through the crowd. You can see people dispersing, people running, a lot of people on their bikes, people, like Jennifer mentioned, with families walking, trying to get away. We have another video we want to show you that kind of shows that moment too. That is the aftermath. I mean, look at that. There are signs everywhere. People ran, people dispersed. And the most interesting image of all, I think, is the one we're about to show you right now. Look at this. I want you guys to know, this is right before the tanker went through. People had been taking a knee, people had been peaceful, and we saw that all changed on a dime. We're gonna keep monitoring social media here. We wanna show you this from every angle because this story is developing still so many questions, but you can see it was pure peace and then pure chaos.
And again, emphasizing, although there's many lanes there, on I-35W, the amount of space for people to escape towards.
Yeah, where do you go?
Where do you go? This is a bridge over water.
Over water. And something else to mention too, Jeff, that we're seeing people talk about on social media is 35W. I mean, that is one of the deepest, most horrible memories people have of what happened when that bridge collapsed.
Jennifer, I'm seeing something right now on Twitter. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety tweeting very disturbing actions by a truck driver on I-35W, inciting a crowd of peaceful demonstrators. Again, reading a tweet from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, it says the truck driver was injured and taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. He is under arrest. It doesn't appear any protesters were hit by the truck.
Yeah, Norman, you know, we're hearing right now from the State Patrol saying they're working with their partners at the Department of Transportation to determine just how that semi got onto I-35W. I think everyone who was on that bridge, as well as everyone who's been watching along with us for the last little while, is wondering that same question. After the interstate was closed, how did it get there? We're also learning that Minneapolis police are acting in a support role to the State Patrol on that bridge. So they are supporting the State Patrol there. They are the agency that seems to be in charge out there right now, Norman. But so many questions about how that truck got there. Our Mike Max also in this area. Maxie, what are you seeing where you are right now?
We are out here. The march has now taken a turn. It's at U.S. Bank Stadium on the Viking ship. This is P.J. Hill. He is an advocate for Minneapolis and a longtime athlete here. I knew him as a basketball player. He now works at Wells Fargo as a financial planner, and he was involved with the athletes in planning these marches. PJ, let's start with what happened on that freeway. We saw the semi-truck come through. What was it like to be marching down there, and what did you see?
So we tried to do a peaceful protest. They told us, don't loot the city, don't burn the city down. So we said, okay, that's the Malcolm X way. We tried to go the Martin Luther King way. We were on the bridge. We had it very peaceful. The mayor was on his way. Royce Wright was the other person with me doing this. We had everybody calm. We were talking, we were waiting for the mayor. All of a sudden, we look up, we hear hung, 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 semi coming like 50 miles an hour. And as he got closer to us, he sped up. Thank God all of our...
He sped up, you think?
Sped up. Everybody, all these guys were right with me. Yes, sped up. Then, thank God all of our people got out the way. A girl had tripped. One of her friends got in front of her. So she was bold. I don't know her name. She got hit a little bit, and then that's what slowed
Not down. Life-threatening, you don't think?
No. Yeah, she started seizing, and her friend got in front of the truck. That's what slowed it down. So we got her out of there. The truck kept going, but thank God our people reacted, jumped on the truck, and slowed him down. Now,
so they literally jumped on the truck as it slowed down?
There were people on the windshield hanging on to the side being dragged. They jumped on it and they stopped it. Now, they did beat him up. They beat him up.
So they took the truck driver out of the truck?
They got him out. They got him out at the very end. But it was leaking gas. The truck was leaking fuel. So we had to get out of there. So all of our people, we started running. Understand, we got about 12,000 people.
Now you smell gas?
Yeah, we smell gas, so we're running. But at the same time, the police have blocked us in one way and then blocked us in the other way. So I see some of our people getting feisty with the police, as they should, because we was peaceful. Then I jumped over the bridge and tried to calm him down. I talked to a guy. He said, get all of your people, round them up, take them up the bridge going up Washington. So I came, I got up top, I talked to all my people, said we're gonna go up the bridge, lead us up to Washington. You know what happens? The police come storming down the bridge, squad cars, almost hit us. Not only did they almost hit us, they were macing. So I looked at him, I said, what is this? Look how you doing my people.
And tear gas.
And tear gassing us. With full riot gear.
Do you think it was just not coordinated well, and that one group didn't know what the other group thought?
But miscommunication is unbelievable.
Both sides of the highway.
A miscommunication at this level is just not.
So what happens next? They're coming down. There's mace. There's tear gas.
Yeah.
And what?
All of our people are on the freeway. So I'm still talking to the guy, trying to get him to stop everybody. He's talking, and then we finally get him to stop. Then he says, all your people, go tell them, we're boxing them in, tell them don't move, they're all going to jail. I said, everybody's going to jail here. It's thousands of people. You're not going to arrest us. You just broke the promise you had with me. He said, just get all your people out of here. So, yeah, are we going to use force? We have it's within our rights. So I got all my people. Thank God everybody was really patient.
Was everybody cooperative?
Everybody was cooperative. Everybody was helping. Yeah. I mean, it's all, look at all the faces in this crowd. We're just humans. Not black, not white. It's about humanity. And that's what you've seen today. Everybody fending for each other. I seen the girl got hurt. I seen a guy carrying her. She was a white girl. I seen a black guy pick her up, put her in the truck, and drive her out of there. Turn that off.
Did anybody go into the back of the truck? Was there anything found in the back of the truck? Did they break into?
No, it was a semi. It was a fuel truck. So
there was no. Okay, it was a fuel truck. So there was no. Social media starts going different.
It was loose pipe. That's why it was spilling. That's why it was spilling fuel.
But that loose pipe had nothing to do. I mean, the gas and the gas leakage had nothing to do with his intent or anything. It's just that was a malfunction of the.
I think it was a we don't know that. Yeah. We don't know that. I mean, anybody who comes through that fast. But all I want to say is, we were peaceful today. We did what they wanted us to do. Non-violent, peaceful protests so our voice can be heard. They attacked us. They broke their promise to us, like they have done. That's why we out here fighting for justice, not for just minorities, for all people. Today was an injustice to all of us, all Minnesotans.
I forget.
All of our young people out here, young, old. We were all out there fighting together.
And to that point, because I was with you the other day when you marched, I reported on it. And was it very similar to that? Was it a peaceful protest that was effective, where you were kneeling from time to time? What was the nature leading up to that?
It was so peaceful. You can watch. We got all the film. It was so peaceful, and it was 12 to 15,000 people. It was so peaceful. We was all there. We wanted the mayor to come so we can talk to him face to face. All we want the mayor to do is sympathize with us. Yeah, we know he has to serve the bigwigs, but in this time of crisis, please come and show your face.
And you haven't seen him yet?
We haven't seen him yet.
And you've asked several times, or?
We've asked.
But he was coming. You said he was en route.
He was coming, and then that trucker messed it up. But so it's just, I got to get over here to my people.
Okay, I'll have one more question for you now. Now, temperatures are flared now.
Yep.
Is this under control? Are you concerned that violence could erupt here because people are, right now, feel so antagonized?
Real deaths. I'm going over there to talk to him. Follow me.
That's PJ Hill. He is, I'd call him a community activist as much as anything. He grew up here. He grew up not far from the 3rd precinct that burned. He's very aware of this community. He was one of the people that organized this march along with Royce White, another prominent basketball player, and PJ Hill simply stepped up and they marched as they did the other day, and you heard his account of it. He was right on it.